Okay, so this is the first video on my channel, and so far it's gained 6 million views, 60,000 subs, and earned $9,000. But how did I do this? How did I get a brand new channel to blow up the very first video? Well, it took a lot of planning and I ran into problem after problem. But at the end of it, I came up with a video formula that works shockingly well to blow up a brand new YouTube channel. So here was my dead simple strategy. I was gonna make videos that people couldn't help clicking on and watching. I know, really genius, right? But here's the thing, since my channel was brand new, I had zero data for what people in my niche, the anime niche, wanted to watch. So I started investigating. I spent hours watching videos, subscribing to channels, and reading comments. I wasn't looking for anything specific. I was just trying to get a vibe of the niche, to understand how it worked, what videos were considered big bangers, and what videos were considered flops. But most importantly, I was looking for one thing. If there were gaps in the market I could take advantage of to blow up a brand new channel. And I found one. This gap that I found would lead to the video that would get 6 million views and $9,000 worth of ad revenue. So let's talk about it. Okay, I'm gonna put on my glasses because it's big brain time. Here's how I found the idea. Let's say this glass is your YouTube video. The more full the glass is of water, the more likely your video is to go viral. I learned from working with some of the biggest YouTubers on the planet that the idea is 80% of the video. If you get just the idea right, your video is extremely likely to go viral, like this. So to find the perfect idea, I used a sneaky little tactic. The tactic I used was really simple. So simple, almost genius. See, when you want to blow up a brand new channel, you're faced with a huge problem. You need to choose an idea that's both viral and fresh. Now, the viral part is easy. You can just search in your niche and find videos with high views. But the issue is that just remaking those videos doesn't work for a brand new channel because they've already been done. So they're not fresh. So I had to find an idea that felt fresh, but that the data showed could get tons of views. It's a chicken and egg problem. How do you do that? But this is where my solution came in. I found this video that had been created 2 years before by a reaction channel called Daz. The entire 20-minute video was just him complaining about how terrible a live action movie of an anime was. And when I saw this video, I knew I had found something big. Here's why. First, this was one of his top videos ever with over 4 million views. Second, the thumbnail was really bad. It's dark and blurry, but 4 million people still clicked on it, which tells me that the idea is really good. Third, this video takes advantage of super fans. I know that fans get really upset when something they love is made again, but terribly. So I knew we could get all the hardcore fans to click on my version of this video if I made it. Okay, so now we had our data-backed video, but how was I gonna make it fresh? Well, all I had to do was change the format. What I mean is that Daz reacted to the movie, so I had to do something different with the movie. So I chose listicles, aka videos that share Easter eggs or facts about a movie people like. You can see here and here that people have done this for the Avengers movies and it's gotten a ton of views. So I knew it's done well in another niche. I knew that this terrible movie could do really well, and so I combined them together to make something brand new. And just like that, I had a data-backed and fresh video idea. But the next problem was the title. See, the title is way more important than people think. If you make a bad title, people don't click. And if they don't click, they don't watch. And if they don't watch, YouTube does not push your video. So I had to make the most breathtaking title YouTube had ever seen. So I followed 4 simple rules to make a strong title. First, I kept the title under 50 characters. Mine was 46 characters because the shorter it is, the faster people can read it and understand it. I also capitalized the vibe word of the title, aka the important word that I want people to see first. In this case, it was the word awful. I also made the title fresh by not including top 10 in the title. Most people tend to put top 10 in listicle videos, so I removed it to keep it a bit more fresh and unique. And then I kept it simple. The more simple your title is, the easier it is for people to understand it. And this is the title we came up with. Boom, just like that, we had our strong title. But my very next problem was the intro. If I messed this up, there was a very strong chance my small, tiny channel would stay small. See, every video on YouTube has something called a retention graph. This line here shows you how many people are leaving your video at any given time. So right here in this crazy dip, you can see that a lot of people left. Now this curve can change a lot based on your niche, your channel size, who's watching. But there's one thing that never changes on any channel on YouTube. And that one thing is that there's always this massive dip at the very beginning of your YouTube video. People always leave at the beginning. If you have a good intro, less people leave, but it's still like 20%. If you have a terrible intro, up to 50, 60, 70% of your viewers can leave. My job on this intro was to make sure that the fewest amount of people left in that intro as possible. Now the video I made ended up getting 6 million views. So let's break down the intro to see what I did. Let's play it right now.
The Attack on Titan movie is the biggest crime in anime history. For example, you remember Captain Levi, humanity's strongest soldier? The movie decided to change things up and remove him.
That first sentence I said is very important, and here's why. The first sentence in your video is like a flower pot. You could use a normal flower pot that's boring and regular, or you could use a really weird flower pot to hook the viewer in on the very first sentence. Now, which one would you use if you wanted to hook somebody? Probably the weird one. And that's how first sentences work. You want to use a strange, extreme, or big one to hook people in. Next, if you look at the retention curve from the video I posted, you'll notice there's a moment where the drop slows down dramatically. This seems like a minor thing, but remember, your intro retention at the beginning of the video dictates how many people are still watching at the end. Just a couple percentages more can make the difference between a 10 million view video or nothing. So this little flat line at the beginning of the intro actually did help the video go viral. So what did I do to get that flat line in the intro? Well, what I did is I hopped into the meat of the video immediately. The first point with interesting info started 4 seconds in, and the average I've seen on YouTube can be anywhere between 45 seconds and like 5 minutes. People ask you to subscribe to their channel, they do this long-winded intro, they talk about unrelated stuff, and I just hopped into the first Easter egg 4 seconds in, and that made a huge difference. You can do this for any niche. For the educational niche, just start with a tidbit or something interesting immediately. For entertainment, it's even easier. Just start the video where you're in the middle of a crazy situation, like this guy.
Walking on water, falling off a 6-story building, using the force to punish those who have wronged me. These are all real illusions that I'm going to be creating today to blow the minds of unsuspecting strangers.
Now, there's one thing I do want to share. There's a couple big mistakes I avoided in my intro that if I had included, probably would have killed the video. I'm going to show you by showing you another intro I made for the video that was just terrible. Let me read it to you. Attack on Titan is one of the most influential anime of our time recently, receiving its very own live action film. Today, we will go through some of the differences between the live action and the anime. There's a lot of big mistakes here. First, the first sentence isn't even talking about what the viewer clicked on. It has no connection to the title and thumbnail of the video. The title was Awful Changes, and the first sentence is talking about influential. That's a surefire way to lose half your viewers in the very first 3 seconds. Second, notice how the language is a lot less extreme than mine. One of the most is just less interesting than most, or what I did, which is biggest crime in anime history. They used the regular flower pot while I used the weird one. My intro line was concrete and extreme, theirs was abstract and vague. Now, let me show you something. Okay, so hidden in my retention graph is a big secret big YouTubers don't tell anyone. If you're on Twitter like me, everyone is always posting these perfect looking retention charts that are just completely flat. There's like barely any drop off. Super flat means barely any viewers are leaving. But in my experience, many videos that go viral end up having terrible retention charts. It looks like a ski slope. This is because if your channel normally gets 100,000 views, but then a video goes viral and gets 10 million, that's 9 million viewers who've never watched your content before, so of course they're gonna skip around more and leave more than your diehard fans. This has been pretty much the same for my other channels and my clients too. So just focus on making great content and the views will come. Now, one of the biggest secrets on YouTube is learning from others. So watch this video right here where I break down how Mark Rober used a sneaky tactic to double his sub count in 90 days. Watch it right here. Peace.